Assalamu alaikum. Hi everybody. This is teacher Manal with you from Amriya School. This is the end of Unit 12 questions. So our outcomes are the following: revising the main concepts in the unit, applying reflection and refraction of light, using mind maps to summarize some lessons. So I'm not gonna explain all the lessons in Unit 12, but I'm gonna help you how to summarize it, what are the most important questions in each lesson. What do you think this is? This is actually like the symmetry that you take it in math. Like this part is symmetrical to this one. According to science, it looks like reflection. So this side is a reflection of this side. And this is it works as a mirror. Now please open your books. We are going to explain some things or remind you with some points, most important points in each lesson. So 12.1, how light travels. This is page 148. You have to write these important questions in this page. So the first question you're gonna answer from this page is how light travels. Okay? Light travels in a straight line, you will answer. That's good. So define light sources. What is light sources? It's already in this paragraph. Give examples of luminous and non-luminous. If you remember, luminous is like the sun, non-luminous is like the moon. Now, second lesson, how shadows form. These are two important questions. What will happen if the light incident on a transparent object? What will happen to it? It will be transmitted. Okay, now what about if it incident on opaque object? Opaque object, what will happen to it here? On an opaque object, it will be reflected, so it will reflect. Now, how shadows form? How shadows form, and that's the most and the main important question in this lesson, because light travels in a straight line. You will answer like the following: because light will travel in a straight line, so when it incident on an opaque object, it will reflect and it will leave a dark area behind the object, because light cannot bend around the corners or around the object. Please keep your book open and open the third lesson, how reflections form. You're gonna define reflection, okay, incident angle, reflection angle, and the normal line. These are very important definitions in this lesson. What are the two types of reflection? And as you know, we have regular and irregular reflection. So what is the difference between them? Please fill them here. You have to revise the slides that we were talking about during that lesson. It is very, very important. And the last thing, state the law of reflection. Law of reflection, it's already here. Angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. This is the fourth lesson, how light bends. We are talking then about refraction. We have to remember the definition of refraction first. And if you didn't find it in the paragraph, you're gonna find it in page 185. Now let me show you. I'm drawing a mind map for you to tell you that this is the easiest way to remember all the information together. This is like a summary for the lesson. So please put it on your notebook or on a sticky note and put it next to this lesson. The first rule, if a ray enters the glass along the normal, what will happen? It will not refract, or it will not bend. That's the answer. Now, if the ray in air enters the glass, if the ray in air enters the glass, like in this case, for example, in this one, so it will refract closer to the normal line or towards the normal line. So you have to write here towards. Now, if the ray in glass enters the air, like this case here, if the ray in glass enters the air, what will happen? It will refract away from the normal line. So away from the normal line. Now the last lesson in this unit, colored light. We have to answer this question. Why do we use filter? Why do we use filter? Like to make light of different colors. So because of that we use filter. And the filter is a transparent colored plastic or glass, as we said before. Now what about white light? It consists of 3 primary colors. What are they? They are already here in this graph: blue, green, and red. Last question in this lesson, explain the color of objects. Now let's solve the second question in page 160 in your course book. A student drew this diagram to show how a ray of light is reflected by a flat mirror. Part A, on your copy of the diagram, draw the reflected ray. So let's see how to draw the reflected ray. This is incident, this is the reflected. Now label the mirror, okay? And the incident ray, reflected ray. Okay, that's good. Now draw the normal of the to the surface of the mirror at the point where the ray is reflected. Label the normal. So this is the normal and that the normal line. Now C, mark the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. Label them I and R. This is I, angle of incidence, R, angle of reflection. Part D, calculate the value of the angle of incidence. Angle of incidence here, we can know it by using 50. This angle of incidence and 50 forms a 90 degree because normal line is perpendicular on the mirror surface. The last part now, use the law of reflection to determine the value of the angle of reflection. The angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection according to the first the law of reflection. So incident angle or angle of incidence equal angle of reflection. That's what we're gonna put that here, and so R, or the angle of reflection, equals 40. Let's solve the third question in page 161. The diagram shows a ray of light passing from air into glass block. That's the incident ray and that's the glass block. Part A, what name is given to the bending of? Okay, be careful. When it travels from one material into another. So bending of light is refraction. Now B, does the ray bend towards the normal or away from the normal when it enters the glass from air? When it enters the glass from air to glass, so it will bend towards the normal. As you can imagine that the normal line is here, so it's becoming closer. Part C, state how a ray of light can travel from air into a glass without bending. Illustrate your answer in this with a diagram. So without bending, so it means without refraction. If a ray enters the glass along the normal, like this case, it will not refract. Part D now. Draw the diagram to show how a ray of light bends when it travels from a glass into air. So from glass into air as this way here, it will refract away from the normal line. Keep in your mind these points. I'm talking fast because I'm not explaining a new lesson. This is not only an applying for the main principles. Let's see here. We have like a question from the checkpoint questions. A student directs a ray of light towards a plane mirror as shown in this figure. So we have an incident ray, we have a reflected ray. Name the line labeled X. What do we name this line? We call it normal. That's a good thing. Now when angle A is this one, when angle A is 45, angle B is also 45. He's giving you or reminding you with the rule, the incident angle equals the reflected angle. So here the angle A is changed to 20. What is the new value of the angle B? Take one box. I give you seconds until you answer. Okay, the correct answer is 20, so you have to put a tick here. Now we have a question here in this cloud. State which angle is the angle of reflection, A or B? Which one is the angle of reflection? Is it A or B? The angle of reflection is B. So the angle of reflection of B, you have to remember how to find the angle of reflection. It is the angle between reflected ray and the normal line. These are very important principles. Another question from the checkpoint questions shows this figure shows a ray of white light entering a semicircular glass block. The ray of light emerges at point R and travels alongside the flat surface. So we have a white light, and then we have like a range of colors coming out between point S and point T. They are on the screen, and so we can see colors here on this screen between S and T. It looked like something we took before, right? Yes, the questions here are not so direct, so you have to think. The same will happen in all your exams, like in the midterm exam or in the final exam. So you have to be prepared, you have to think. So it looked like the prism that we took. Okay, so here a spectrum of color can be seen on the screen between S and T. State the colors in the correct order. One has been done for you. So color at S, the color that we know already, the color that will refract less than the others is red. So can you complete until the letter T? In the letter T we have most refracted color, which is, can you answer here? It is violet. How to fill between red and V? You can remember the order of colors by remembering this name, Roy G. Biv. We already explained how to use it. R red, O orange, Y yellow, G green, B blue, I indigo, V violet. Roy G. Biv. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's the correct answer. Keep them in your mind. That's it for today. Nothing new we took on. We already revised all the unit, so no new concepts, no new definitions, but you have to revise this unit, please. Okay, so this is your homework. On your notebook, please solve the course book question 1, page 160, question 4, page 161. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and keep safe.